Peace, love, and light, friends and family. It's Jay Lamont and Nappy Soul Productions. Nappy Soul Television over here on YouTube, and Jay Lamont of Nappy Soul Radio over on 107.7 The Bronx and 107.7thebronx.com. And I'm back with the previous production session that we had going on earlier today. But now that we have the arrangement done, well, in terms of just like how we're going to have it laid out, now I'm going to start adding in those drops in terms of like dropping different elements throughout the actual track itself, you know, from drum elements to bass, kick, snare, and all that stuff, you know, all that good stuff. But also I'm going to show you how I actually go about resampling. Well, no, I'll get back to that. We're gonna just focus on actually just adding in our mutes and automation here in Ableton. I'm gonna show you how you actually do that. So let's go ahead and get in there. So if you weren't here for the first one, I'll play how it sounds right now for you guys. It's sounding pretty good. So that's pretty much how we have it going into from the intro and then into the verse section before it goes into the chorus section, when you're gonna hear it drop the vocal element of the track. But what I wanted to mainly focus on doing now is seeing where I can add mutes in for the actual vocal throughout the chorus section, and also some of the drum elements, such as the closed hi-hat here and this open hi-hat. And the way I usually go about doing this, since I have XO here, I'm able to actually route out each sound, and that's what I've done out to an audio track. And I can use the audio track and take this mixer and the speaker on function, and I can automate the sections that I want to mute, and that's how I'm gonna simulate my drops and all that. That's how I usually go about doing that. But what I'm trying to hear is just on this vocal, on this vocal throughout the verse section, where I can add in some mutes and all that stuff right there to create a bit of variation. So we're gonna mute the drums here, and we're gonna just go throughout this verse section and see where I can mute the actual vocal and see how it sounds. Let me see. We're gonna try mute here. Let's see how that sounds. Or actually, Let's hear how it sounds with the drums. See, when you add in a bit of those mutes on those vocals right there, it actually adds a little bit of a bounce, to the track already. And so that's just pretty much what I'm trying to do throughout this verse section. Just add a little bounce throughout where I can have these mutes in the actual vocal, and then later on in certain elements where I can have it playing fully with no mutes. That's how we're gonna create variation throughout this simple track. It's a simple sample based beat. It has the melodic sample, and it has the vocal sample, and it has drums and bass. It's that simple. And the bass is even in the sample. But we're gonna separate that in another session when I show you guys how I use RX. But we're gonna get back in here and see how we can manipulate more of the vocal with these mutes. See if I make this one a little shorter. Yeah, I like that right there. I think I'm gonna add that on the second one also. Let's see where. So here and here. Yeah. See how that sounds in this first 4 bars. I'm trying to get that, on that, to get it to bounce like that on that. Let's see. Maybe I need a smaller cut on there. Oh, actually, they're pretty much just bouncing where the kicks land. Now that I actually think about it. Let me actually see. Can I copy and paste that automation? Let's see. Oh, nice. One thing that I'm noticing is where I'm actually adding these drops are where I'm adding the drops at, or they're actually where the kick is landing. So another thing that I could possibly use instead of actually adding the mutes on this track is actually side chaining the kick to it. So let me actually see how that works out real quick. So we're gonna remove. I don't think I want to delete the automation. Actually, if I mute it, then I'll take the automation off right there. So we're gonna grab the Ableton compressor, and we're gonna side chain that actual vocal to the kick in the track. That's the best bet. So audio effects. I know you guys can see me on the push right now. I'm gonna get the compressor here in the dynamic section. And so basically when I set this compressor to sidechain, basically whenever the kick comes in on the track, it's basically gonna this track is basically gonna duck the kick. So whenever the kick plays, this track is gonna move out of the way of the kick, and pretty much it's gonna act as kind of like a mute, pretty much. Let me see, where is kick one? Believe this is the track. Yeah. So as you can see, this waveform going through right there, that's the kick. And basically how you set a compressor, you have a threshold, and whenever the range of the sound that goes through crosses this threshold, that's going to depend on how much sound is going to be, affected. I don't have time. I want to get into the compressor, but I'm just let you see what it does instead of like really talking about it. We'll do that some other Yeah, I like the way that ducking sound really sounds. It sounds really good on with the. So we're gonna A/B that. Let's see here. Let me play it back. that ducking sound on the I'll actually solo both tracks for you real quick. I'm gonna solo the kick and I'm gonna solo the vocal so you can hear how it sounds together. First, let me make sure my mic is still going. Okay, kick number 1, solo, and we're gonna solo this. So this is how the vocal sounds by itself before the kick. And here comes the kick. You're gonna hear the effect on it. And if we lower the threshold, you see, you hear how it's like basically ducking. But we're gonna lift the threshold back up. So if you ever have a vocal that's really like in your way, you know, if you have an overbearing vocal sample, a good way to really like, I don't know, create a little bit of variety, especially like coming out of a verse section, well, the intro section where it's just a straight voice, and then when it comes to the kick, one thing that you can really do to create some variation, you know, throughout your track, to have that vocal kind of change up, is actually doing this side chain. And basically what I would do throughout the track, I would actually just automate the threshold in this case, so I can have a variation. I'll actually start, I'll play it and I'll mess with the threshold as it goes through the verse section, so you can hear the difference, you know, that you can have throughout, you know, throughout the actual verse. Just ducking, you know, just having the vocal duck the kick and creating that little variation throughout the track, at least for the verse, and so it doesn't sound completely the same. Let's do that real quick. I'll actually go from the intro again too. So and we're gonna automate. We're gonna automate on the threshold. We got it right here on the push. You can see this is automate. That is such a cool technique. That's such a cool technique right there, honestly. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the first time I've actually legit used that technique and really thought about it in that way. But it was just the mutes wasn't working, and I noticed I was adding the mutes on the kick, and then that's pretty cool. That's the first time I've done that, but that's a pretty cool trick. Now I'm definitely gonna continue doing that. But let's get back into it. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record the automation and just mess with it. The threshold throughout that verse section up straight off the push, and I'm gonna just do it throughout this whole song, throughout each verse section real quick to automate and record that in. That's what we're gonna do. Excuse me, lost the sound for a second. Gotta make sure I arm both tracks, but we're gonna do. Let's do this. Yeah, let's automate that, because I really like that. that's the automation live, just live recorder like that, right there for that right there. And now I'm definitely going to, now we're gonna look at the percussion, in terms of our drums and adding like drops and mute. So one thing you can do. So let's go to this verse section right here. So this 16 bar verse section from bar 9 going to 24 before it goes into the chorus. One thing that I always do, going off a 4-bar loop for drums. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here on the 12th bar. The snare that it actually ends on, on the 4 count, if you mute that and then come back with the snare on the 1, which will be on this 13, on bar 13, that's a very great way to just create some simple simple variation. That's something that what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Apollo Brown really uses this technique. So I'll just like play it for you real quick. Actually, I'll just do it on the 2 bars. So you're gonna just mute the snare on the 4 right here on verse bar 10, and then it's gonna come back in on the 2. And it's usually a variation that you'll use pretty much every 4 bars pretty much. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna just put it on the 4. Yeah, let me just put it on the 4 so you guys can hear it on the 4th bar and come back in. All right, here it goes. But you gotta actually drop a lot. I'm probably gonna drop the kick too before it goes back to that snare also. Let's see. So drop the kick on the 1. It's gonna come back in right there. So let's see how this sounds. The recording from my vocal earlier. But yeah, if you hear like on those ends, it creates that variation that you need, like even right here going into this the chorus section. Even though I had to kick out a lot longer than I usually would, that actually sounded really good. Let's see, so let's play like that sounds like a really good transition coming out of the verse section into the chorus. We do that one more time. I'm gonna drop that snare here on the eighth bar. Yeah, on the eighth bar because I don't want. Yeah, let's see let's see about muting. Mute the, oh no, that's the limiter gain. Don't want that. Don't want to automate that. Mixer. There we go. So everything else drops here. So let's drop this open hi-hat and the closed hi-hat here. Transition into the chorus right there. I could just keep the kick itself out for a second, just letting that snare go. Yeah, and then just bring it in. And so we will have to transition over into the second verse. But these are very simple little moves that y'all can make. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really keeping it simple in terms of just the arrangement of this. So just so Geno can get on here, write what he needs to write, and then in terms of other like drops and all that stuff. If once he sends me the vocal back, from what he writes, I can put it in this section and then add even more of these little tricks right here that I'm just doing right here. But yeah, man, usually when you go through that 16 bar loop here on the eighth bar, that before that last snare to close out the loop, drop that mug, drop everything, and then you'll transition over into the next 8. That's literally it. You know what I'm saying? And this is the chorus. And then you will pretty much do the same thing. You'll pretty much do the same thing going into the second verse and even going into the last chorus and the outro. But obviously, I would drop more elements from the actual sample and like the bass and all that. But that's all within the melodic sample, and I'm gonna show you how to separate that in another section tomorrow. I'm just breaking up these into small little parts for you guys to just see how simple it is. You can really come up with a little basic stem for a track, I guess. But I'm just taking my time with it just so you guys can see little steps that I take live. But I mean, I think that's all I really want to show y'all for tonight, man. Just some simple automation, just dropping this element, dropping that element. We discovered a cool little trick with the vocal and side chaining it with the kick and automating that. And I'll show you break down some other stuff in the next few days. Peace, love, and light to y'all. It's Jay Lamont. Excuse me, hold on. Peace, love, and light to y'all. It's Jay Lamont of Nappy Soul Productionz. Nappy Soul Radio over here on YouTube, and Nappy Soul Radio on 1077 The Bronx and 1077thebronx.com. And we are on the air every Tuesday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And over there, I share my audio production journey, through my personal journey. And I just talk to you guys for an hour, and it's lit. The best college radio station in Atlanta. We're at Rider University, and I'm running the best show. Peace, love, and light to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. I hope all is well. And like, comment, subscribe. But like, comment, and subscribe. Comment on the video after the live. That's what helps with the algorithm. But peace, love, excuse me.